The film, Amadeus, made in 1984, tells the fictionalized story of the rivalry between composers Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and Antonio Salieri in 18th century Vienna. What made this film stand out to me from others was how it used pre-existing music made from both composers, primarily Mozart, as the score to help craft a narrative that explores the key themes of the film. The story is mainly fictional, but however does encompass a lot of historical fact, and with the use of sound, particularly synthesizing of the two composers' music into the story, underscores the complex relationship these two men shared, while honing in on their internal conflicts as well. While the film takes creative liberties when it comes to the historical relationship between Mozart and Salieri, the effective use of sound undertones the emotional weight of their fictional rivalry. The film draws a sharp contrast between the supposed mediocrity of Salieri and the divine gifts of Mozart, aligning with the perception that Salieri is the, quote, patron saint of mediocrities. This contrast between the two is seen evidently in the moment when Mozart rewrites Salieri's Welcome March. Salieri, in this moment, watches as a piece he spent a tremendous amount of time composing is completely undermined, while Mozart effortlessly improvises over it and makes it sound 10 times better than originally written, emphasizing the different styles to musical creation these two have.
The rest is just the same, isn't it? It doesn't really work, does it?
We see at this moment how Mozart completely undermines Salieri's work with the phrase, "The rest is just the same, isn't it?" as he demonstrates his musical superiority, and we see the jealousy and anger formulate on Salieri's face. Then, as Mozart starts to change Salieri's composition simply from memory, the already growing fire of Salieri's resentment is made larger and stronger as he is made a fool in front of everybody. This is just one of the simple examples of how sound is used in this film, not just to depict events as they're happening in real time, but to shape the audience's perceptions of the characters and amplify the emotional intensity of their rivalry and Salieri's internal conflict. The film's structure takes place as a confession from the elderly Salieri as he recounts his perceived role in Mozart's death. He acts as the primary narrator and guides us through the story. However, Salieri as a narrator is unreliable, as his recounting is tainted by what he feels. For example, upon rewatching the film, I noticed that when the audience is witnessing the immaturity and foolish qualities of Mozart, it is actually just the skewed perception of the rival of Salieri. Meaning, in his narration, we are seeing the caricature of the man he hates, not the actual man himself. And because of this unreliability, we can view the film through a different lens, this being through Mozart's music. Mozart's music serves as an almost second narrator, a more pure and more objective voice that allows the audience to experience the genius that is Mozart's music and what Salieri so desperately craves to be a part of. With now being able to view the film through this second narrator lens, it is important to examine a crucial recurring motif found throughout. The chord of D minor plays a crucial role in Amadeus, as it connects key characters and foreshadows events. The chord, which sounds like this, is very dark and ominous, and we hear it at the very start of the film. In time, we understand that this chord is part of the opening of Mozart's Don Giovanni, and is used through the rest of the film to signal impending doom, and is first introduced with Mozart's father, Leopold. Later, it is used again, being associated with the figure of the Commendator from Don Giovanni. This ominous chord of D minor draws a great parallel of imposing presence between the two authoritarian and striking figures of Mozart's life. Through its recurring presence and its manner of showing impending doom, the D minor chord becomes a powerful symbolic element, contributing to the film's exploration of genius, and more importantly, the ever-looming presence of mortality. One of the most prominent uses of sound found in the film comes when Salieri is examining the handwritten drafts of Mozart's music. What makes this scene so great is how the filmmakers managed to use sound to underscore the emotional complexity of the scene. Here, the audience is given a glimpse into Salieri's subjective experience through the use of meta-diegetic sound, a technique where the sound is only heard by a specific character and no others who are present in the scene. The music on the page as he reads it seemingly comes to life for Salieri, and he's transported into the world of Mozart's mind. The sudden shift from no score and silence to the beautiful sounds of Mozart's music immerses the audience in Salieri's feelings of awe, as he is encapsulated by the brilliance he sees on the page. And what happens next is fascinating, as the filmmakers use a unique approach as they invert the traditional relationship between sound and image, and the score takes center stage, while close-up shots of the sheet music and the expressions on Salieri's face heighten the impact of Mozart's creative genius. Even further, as each page is turned to a new piece, the score changes simultaneously to the one that he is viewing on the page, as if we are hearing the pieces being translated in Salieri's head.
Astounding. It was beyond belief. These were first and only drafts of music. But they showed no corrections of any kind. Not one. He had simply written down music already finished in his head.
As we, the audience, are presented with Mozart's genius from the page to ear, we fail to notice something that is just as important. Salieri is just as much of a genius himself, as he is able to understand and hear the piece as he is reading it on the page and not being played in full with an orchestra. This adds to the concept displayed of artistic genius and how the power of artistic genius is able to both inspire and torture those who are bearing witness to it. The Confutati scene from Requiem that takes place near the end of the film is another great example of the use of sound to elevate the power and impact of the scene. In this scene, we are further shown the internal conflict of Salieri and his relationship with Mozart's genius. As a dying Mozart dictates the score, the audience experiences the brilliance and speed of his mind as Salieri transcribes what Mozart tells him is going on inside of his head. And through the use of metadiegetic sound again, viewers hear the music as it is imagined and then completed on the page.
Now the tenors. Fourth beat of the first measure on C. Confutatis. Second measure, fourth beat, D. Maledictis. All right.
Yes, continue.
Second beat of the fourth measure on F. Flamis acribus addictis, flamis acribus addictis. Now the orchestra.
This step-by-step illustration, going from isolated vocals to the complete texture, reveals Mozart's mastery and genius even in the face of death. Additionally, as Salieri scribes the piece for Mozart, these two artists are seen working together for the first time in the whole film. Both of them are able to hear the music while still on paper, as if both of their minds are connected. And in this connection, these two artists are able to work together to create a beautiful piece of music, and each of them realizing something in the process. As Mozart instructs Salieri, he realizes that he finally has someone who understands music in the way that he does. And as Salieri is being instructed, he understands how the genius he has long admired works, and is just as much of a genius as him, as he can understand what is being relayed to him. This scene as a whole captures the essence of artistic creation, while finally giving reasoning and resolve to the complex dynamic between Salieri and Mozart shown throughout the film. What the film does amazingly as a whole is utilizing music not simply as background sound, but rather as a character and a part of the narrative. By prioritizing the music over the typical aspects of cinema, Amadeus challenges viewers to experience Mozart's genius on a deeper level. The score, being more than just accompaniment, is a dynamic force that shapes the audience's understanding of the characters. This special approach, while being combined with the exploration of incredibly humane themes, makes Amadeus a unique and timeless masterpiece that continues to stand the test of time.